I helped my male best friend make his cheating wife jealous, but it turned out I was just a homewrecker. I had known my best friend Matt since university days. Some people thought we were romantically involved, which I didn't understand how they got to that conclusion. We had a small friend group, mixed genders. We did a lot of fun things all together. I was particularly close to Matt since we liked the same things. But romantically, there was nothing between us. We each dated other people. He found his forever after 5 years ago, or so I thought. He introduced Ellen to us and I thought she was nice. They got married after a year of dating because she got pregnant. I am still single. Dated a few but no one really lasted. That's okay. I'm still exploring and isn't rushing anything. Matt's family life didn't interfere with us hanging out. Maybe I phrased that wrong. What I meant to say was he was still available any time for us. He was the first person in our group to get married. We all thought he was going to be unavailable for some of our hangouts, but he was there all the time, rarely with his wife. Fast forward to last year. He appeared at my doorstep in the middle of the night so distraught. I was immediately worried because I had never seen him like that. I let him in and asked him to tell me what was wrong. He said he just found out his wife was cheating on him with a coworker. He saw their text messages and it had been going on for months. When he confronted her, she pointed out that she was the primary provider, and with how little he received at work, he's an all-rounder office staff, he wouldn't be able to afford a roof on his head. I got so angry hearing that. His cheating wife had no remorse and even financially abused him. I advised him to divorce her because I didn't see this ending happy for him. He said he couldn't because she controlled the purse string. Everything was under her name, even the car he drove. He also wouldn't afford child custody, and she was threatening to take their son away from him. She did say her affair already ended, so there's that. I asked him what his plan was. He got sheepish but asked me to help him make her jealous. That was odd. What for? She already cheated. She already controlled him. What was jealousy going to do for the better? He explained that he felt that because they had been together for a long time, 4 years wasn't that long. I thought though, she didn't see him as desirable anymore. If someone else found him attractive, maybe she would see him attractive as she did before too. I didn't think it was a good idea, but he was adamant. He convinced me that Ellen was already jealous of me and my perceived closeness to her husband. Making Ellen jealous wouldn't be a stretch. I thought his goal should be to divorce Ellen, not to get her back, but I saw how devastated he was and how he wanted his marriage to work out. It was a bad plan, but he was my best friend and I wanted him to be happy. I agreed. The next time the gang gathered, everyone invited their significant others. Matt didn't invite Ellen again, but he made sure he posted photos of us two together on social media. He also asked me to call him on his phone every night. It was for Ellen to see that I was in touch with her husband. When a friend in our group celebrated his engagement with his girlfriend, we were all asked to bring our partners. I didn't have anyone to bring. Matt brought Ellen so he could make her jealous as planned. I wasn't totally on board with Matt's plan, but the moment I saw Ellen, I was disgusted. She was all smiles, like she didn't just cheat and basically blackmailed her husband into staying with her. I started excluding her in conversations, getting touchy with Matt. I took the seat beside Matt, forcing Ellen to sit far away from us. I could see Ellen was getting uncomfortable watching me flirt with her husband and Matt seemingly eating it all up. Good. I wanted her to be uncomfortable. I heard Ellen telling Matt that I was being inappropriate with him, which he just brushed off. I felt a little guilty, but I remembered she wasn't a good person and deserved the humiliation she got. That went on for a couple more times we saw each other. I kept up with the role of being the annoying girl who had a not-so-secret crush on her best friend. I didn't like who I was becoming when they were around. I felt bad being the homewrecker, until I remembered that she was the one who wrecked her marriage. I hoped my friend was at least progressing in his plans to make Ellen in love with him again because I was tired of this whole roleplay. Not to mention, I found it icky to pretend to be in love with Matt, whom I loved as a brother. I wasn't opposed to hugs and cheek kisses, but it was too much even for me to stick beside him all the time. One night, he came to my apartment again. He told me that he and Ellen got into a big fight because she wanted him to drop me or else she would restart her affair with her coworker. That was odd. I mean, I didn't know Ellen that well, but who talks like that? But anyway, Matt said he wouldn't turn his back on our friendship, but if there's one thing that he was sure about his wife, it's her competitive nature. Maybe if I could message Ellen that I was pregnant with his child, then Ellen would snatch him back from me and leave her own lover. Alarm bells were ringing in my ears. That was an odd request and even odder plan. I wanted to tell him no and just come up with a better plan or a better job so she couldn't hold money over his head anymore. I told him I would do it tomorrow instead. There was something about this whole make my wife jealous plan that was nasty from the start. He stayed in my apartment for a few more hours, with us just hanging out and watching Netflix. Before he left, he embraced me so tightly for a long time. I was still making an excuse in my mind that he was just distraught and wanted a friend to lean on. I went to work the next day, still not texting his wife of my supposed pregnancy. He kept reminding me to do it. At lunchtime, I was told I had a visitor. It was Ellen. She asked me point blank if I was sleeping with her husband and how did it feel to sleep with a family man. There was something in her voice that made me hesitate to answer her back with the same venom as I had felt for weeks. She might be just playing me. She could also be acting out a narcissistic fantasy that she's the one aggrieved. But call it a woman's instinct, right then and there I believed she was truly hurt. I asked her to join me for lunch. I was afraid she'd say no, but I think she also felt something was off, so she agreed. At lunch, I learned that she was not what Matt told me about her. There was no affair with her coworker and she never threatened Matt with taking away her child. She said that couldn't have been true because her life consisted of going to work and returning straight back home because she had to do chores. Matt wouldn't help with the house or their child unless she specifically asked him to, which he called nagging. I don't know why, but I believed her. I believed her, practically a stranger, to my best friend whom I had known for years. I explained to her that I never had feelings other than sisterly for her husband. I had to admit that Matt asked me to make her jealous. I had no idea why Matt had to lie so much. What would he get from all this? Me. It turned out he thought he would get me. Ellen said Matt had feelings for me. He wouldn't admit it, but she knew in her heart that that's true. Even if that was true, that was an effed up way of getting me. I confirmed that by asking our mutual friends. They all said the only one who was not aware Matt was in love with me was me. He even outright told him not to make a move on me because I was his. It wasn't easy, but I had Matt to admit later that he made up all he said about Ellen and her supposed affair. He said he did it so I could finally see him the way I should have from the start, that we should have been together. He said that he knew I felt the same because I was still single and just waiting for him to love me. He wanted to come over to explain to me in person, but I was suddenly afraid of what he would do. I don't know this man anymore. The best friend I knew suddenly stopped existing, replaced by a man with a hidden agenda. He was willing to hurt his own wife, abandon his own family, just to get me. It was disgusting. I packed an overnight and checked into a hotel. I knew Matt would go to my place and convince me any way he could that we should be together. I wasn't wrong. I saw on my CCTV that he came over. He made a scene too when I wouldn't answer, forcing my landlord to call the police. He was out of there before they arrived. I told our friends what happened. They all agreed that Matt was sick in the head and shouldn't come near me again. They helped protect me from him when he tried to come over again until I got a restraining order against him. His wife also told me she filed for divorce and a restraining order against him when he found out that she was the one who told me the truth. That happened about a year ago. Ellen and I are still friends. I made a genuine friendship with her. We know that we were both victims of a deranged man. I heard that he left the state to avoid paying child support. He not only lost my friendship and his family, but our friend group as well. And that was the story of how I became a homewrecker.
If you liked the story, please give it a thumbs up. Share the video and subscribe for more. Click the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you very much.